It's 9 p.m. and I'm alone. I've just had dinner with a friend in the city centre and now I'm standing at a bus stop waiting to go home. The street is dim, the shops all closed, and the cold creeps in, making me pull my coat a little bit tighter. I thought I'd be fine, but buses keep getting cancelled, taxis aren't accepting fares, and my parents' voices are in my head. Do not walk anywhere alone after dark. Each time a bus appears on the horizon, my hope rises, only to fall as another full sign blinks back at me. My phone is refreshing taxi apps, but they're all turning up the same answer: unavailable. Footsteps. A man approaches the stop. He keeps coming closer and closer until he's standing right next to me, and I sense him turn to talk to me. Where do you live? Were you waiting on that last bus? Where are you from? His questions spill out one after another, too direct and all too familiar for a dark street at night. I look up at the timetable, 40 minutes until the next bus. 40 minutes seems impossible. I do then consider walking, but then I'm leading him home, and now he's stepping even closer. Voices. A group of students arrive at the stop. They also look at the timetable, groan at that wait, and decide they're just going to keep walking. As they turn to leave, I feel the moment slip away. So I take a deep breath and I step forward and I said, "Do you mind if I walk with you?" And they say, "Of course," smiling as if the answer was obvious. And they walk me the whole way home, 15 minutes out of their way, just so that I feel safe again. And in that moment, I realized that we all feel a little safer when we walk together. The story I started this talk off with was an experience I had in my first year at university. As a girl who had lived in Donegal her whole life, moving to Belfast was obviously a big change for me, and that night was an uncomfortable one. But it wasn't a unique situation. It happens to women and girls every day, and how I felt that night at the bus stop really stayed with me. It made me question, why do we accept that these type of things will happen? And why do we do nothing about it? So in second year of university, a friend and I decided to start the Walkie Talkie Girlies Society. The idea was simple. We wanted to create a safe space where people, especially women, could come together to socialise, exercise, and get outdoors, all in the group setting of a weekly walk. So in January of 2024, we organised our very first walk. Now, it didn't exactly go to plan, as after weeks and weeks of planning, we ended up having to postpone our first walk because of a storm, and we weren't really sure if anyone would turn up. However, when 40 people turned up, we were both thrilled and terrified. We joked that we needed one of those leashes you put on toddlers to keep everyone together, because walking down the many road crossings of the Lisburn Road felt like an Olympic event. However, it was a huge success. Over the next few months, we continued to organise our walks, which drew anywhere between 5 and 50 people. Now, we organised these at different days and times each week to accommodate as many different people, and we always keep our routes and starting points private, shared only within our members group chat. We partnered with local businesses to offer discounted treats after the walk, and soon we had grown to over 180 members. But while we were growing, the world around us felt heavy. In that same summer of 2024, after we had been established, the media were reaching out, and the university had begun to take notice, the world around us felt a bit different. Because in that same summer, 6 women were murdered in Northern Ireland. There was fear, frustration, and grief. And all too often, the conversation became sensationalised or divided, as if this was a different issue entirely. Recognising the urgency of the moment, we decided that it was time to use our platform to speak up about this important issue. What started off as small local walks now had the potential to be public activism, to be visible and bold. We wanted to take our message beyond campus and into the heart of Belfast in the form of a large-scale awareness walk. That is how Project Pink was born. We started by lobbying Belfast City Council to get City Hall lit up in pink for one night in support of the End in Violence Against Women and Girls campaign. We gathered signatures for a petition, sent hundreds of emails, and liaised with the PSNI and other bodies. Now, it wasn't easy at first. Our motion was declined, but we weren't going to stop there. We reached out to our local representatives, we discussed our cause with the Lord Mayor, and we continued to advertise our petition. We shared our vision on social media, and soon the response was overwhelming. Charities, student groups, community organisations, they all wanted to join us. The BBC even got wind of this story, as well as several other local media outlets. And now the students who were organising the local walks were now giving interviews on national media. Slowly, the support began to build, and after weeks of determination, we finally got the approval for City Hall and Queen's University to be lit up in pink. By the time November came around, our small idea had become a movement. And on the 6th of November 2024, over 600 people came together for the awareness walk from Queen's University to City Hall. The streets were filled with students, families, community members, and local representatives walking side by side, all dressed in pink. And when we reached City Hall, the Lord Mayor stood with us and spoke in support of the campaign. It was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. We had taken something that was rooted in fear and turned it into hope. Proof that when people come together, we are never powerless. And this year, on the 5th of November, Project Pink 2.0 had even more of a reach, with more buildings across Northern Ireland and beyond lit up in support. Through this progression, we didn't just grow in numbers, we grew in purpose. Our walk taught us what it means to feel safe together. Our expansion to over 1,000 members since our establishment has taught us what it means to build a community together. And Project Pink has told us what it means to stand together for change. The truth is, I don't know how to end violence against women and girls. If there was a clear answer, we'd have found it by now. But what we do know is that women alone cannot end it. This is not a women's issue. It's a societal one. And society means all of us. Men, women, friends, families, neighbours, colleagues. Each one of us has a role in playing in creating a culture where safety and respect are the norm and not the exception. That night at the bus taught me something I will never forget. Real change rarely begins with grand gestures. It begins the moment we choose to show up for each other. It begins the moment we decide to act instead of accepting the way things are. It begins when you call out a misogynistic comment made towards a female colleague, or help someone into a taxi and ask them to text you when they get home, or step in at a bus stop instead of turning away. Because real change doesn't start with a new law or a protest or even a speech. It starts with something as simple as maybe someone reaching out to another and saying, "Come on, I'll walk with you." And that's why Walkie Talkie Girlies will continue to organise our weekly walks, because a community is stronger when no one feels they walk alone. And we will continue to organise Project Pink to remind us that each step is a choice to act. And when people choose to stand together, even in the smallest of ways, the impact can be extraordinary. Thank you.